Welcome back to Nimra Aerospace. Today, Aureon-1 returns to the pad for its second test flight, following lessons learned from the first mission. This flight focuses on improved stability and data collection as the Aureon program continues to move forward. As we remain in a pre-launch hold, teams are continuing final system checks on Aureon-1. The vehicle is stable on the pad, ground support equipment is operating normally, and weather conditions remain within limits. This pause allows engineers additional time to review data before proceeding toward the next phase of today's test flight. We are now preparing for vehicle startup on Aureon-1. Flight computers and avionics will transition from ground power to internal systems as final checks continue. This marks a key step toward resuming the countdown for today's second test flight.
Vehicle startup.
Vehicle startup is complete on Aureon-1. The rocket is now on internal power, flight computers are active, and all systems are reporting nominal. Teams continue to monitor vehicle health as the countdown remains in a controlled hold ahead of today's second test flight. We are holding after vehicle startup at this time. Aureon-1 remains in a stable configuration on internal power, while teams continue to review telemetry and range status. This is a planned pause, giving controllers additional time to verify all systems before proceeding further in today's test flight. We are getting close to resuming the countdown for Aureon-1. The vehicle remains stable on internal power as teams complete final reviews and prepare to move forward. Pending final clearance, we expect to proceed shortly with the next steps of today's second test flight.
T-minus 15. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And liftoff. Aureon-1 has cleared the launch pad and is now climbing away on its second test flight. The vehicle is pitching and rolling to align with its planned descent trajectory as engines continue to perform within expected parameters. This flight builds on data gathered from the previous mission, and teams are closely monitoring telemetry as Nimra Aerospace moves forward with the Aureon program. Aureon-1 is continuing to climb nominally and is now approaching max Q, the point of maximum aerodynamic pressure during ascent. Guidance systems are actively managing vehicle attitude and loads as engines maintain steady performance. Teams are closely watching telemetry as the rocket enters one of the most demanding phases of today's second test flight.
Max Q.
Aureon-1 has successfully passed through max Q and is now experiencing decreasing aerodynamic loads as it continues its ascent. The vehicle remains stable, engines are performing as expected, and guidance systems are maintaining the planned trajectory as Nimra Aerospace proceeds with the second test flight. As Aureon-1 continues beyond max Q, the vehicle is accelerating through the upper atmosphere with decreasing drag. Propellant levels in the first stage are trending as expected, and guidance remains locked on the planned descent profile. Teams are monitoring engine performance and structural loads as we move closer to first stage cutoff later in the flight. Aureon-1 continues a steady ascent at this time, with first stage engines operating nominally and guidance holding the planned trajectory. Vehicle acceleration is increasing as atmospheric effects continue to decrease, and teams remain focused on propulsion and structural data ahead of first stage cutoff. Aureon-1 is now approaching first stage cutoff. The vehicle continues to perform nominally as propellant levels reach planned depletion, and guidance systems are preparing for engine shutdown as we move toward the next major milestone of today's second test flight.
Stage 1 engine cutoff. Stage separations.
And we have stage separation. The first and second stages of Aureon-1 have successfully separated, marking the end of powered flight for the first stage. The second stage is now preparing to continue the mission as the vehicle transitions cleanly into the next phase of ascent.
Fairing detach.
The payload fairing has now separated from Aureon-1, exposing the vehicle as it continues its ascent into thinner atmosphere. With aerodynamic loads no longer a concern, the mission proceeds to the next phase as teams monitor vehicle health and trajectory following a clean and successful fairing separation.
Second engine cutoff.
And we have second engine cutoff. Aureon-1's second stage has completed its burn and shut down as planned, placing the vehicle on the targeted trajectory. Telemetry indicates stable attitude and healthy systems as the mission transitions into a coast phase. Teams are reviewing performance data from ascent and propulsion while preparing for the next planned events of today's second test flight. That concludes today's coverage of the Aureon-1 mission. We'd like to thank everyone for joining us on this second test flight and for following along throughout today's broadcast. Data from this mission will be carefully reviewed as teams continue to refine vehicle performance. We look forward to seeing you again at the next launch, when Nimra Aerospace takes the next step forward with Aureon-2. With Aureon-1's second test flight now complete, teams will continue monitoring vehicle data and post-flight telemetry as we remain with you for additional mission coverage. This mission marks an important step in validating early systems, and the experience gained today will directly support future vehicles. Looking ahead, Attention will soon turn to the next launch opportunity, as Nimra Aerospace prepares for the debut of Aureon-1.